So one of the quietest forces in financial decision making isn't fear, it's comfort, because there's something strangely reassuring about leaving the things the way they are. So not reviewing that super fund, not changing the insurance, not adjusting or reviewing your investment mixes, not revisiting your cash flow plan, because doing nothing feels stable, it feels measured, it feels disciplined. Hell, sometimes it can even feel wise. But here's the subtle problem. So in finance, inaction is not neutral. It's a decision, and our brains are wired to prefer inaction when uncertainty is involved. It's called status quo bias. So we assume that what we have is currently safer than what we could potentially change it to. Not because it's better, but because it's familiar. The familiar feels controlled and control feels safe. But markets change, tax rules change, life changes. Income shifts, families grow, risk tolerance evolves, even your time horizons can shrink. And when the environment changes, but the settings don't, well, that's where drift begins. So, this doesn't cause dramatic failure necessarily, but it's minor misalignment. And over time, that can have a really big impact. So the interesting thing is that most people don't resist change because they're stubborn. They resist it because change introduces the possibility of regret. Because if you alter something and it performs worse, then you start feeling responsible. Whereas if you left it alone and it performs poorly, it kind of feels like circumstances that have done it to you instead. So the psychological difference is actually really powerful. But financial maturity isn't about constant action. It's about periodic, deliberate reassessment. Not reacting, not tinkering, just reviewing with clarity. Because sometimes the most expensive financial habit isn't bad decision making. It's that comfortable avoidance. And there's a quiet strength in being willing to look again. Not because something is broken, but because you understand that time can change the context and money works best when your behavior evolves alongside it.